Hey everybody, Flip and Danny here, founders of the Freedom Real Estate Group family of companies, and welcome to our podcast, which is called
Freedom Through Passive Income.
Gotcha. And welcome to another episode. This is our one of our live episodes, and this one is our week 3 recap and key takeaways.
Yay!
Takeaways. Back to last Saturday, episode number 15 was talking about real estate syndications. What are they and why do we love them? Key takeaways there is we talked about ways for you to pool funds with other investors. So that way you can invest in these syndications. And then we also talked, and I say we, it was you, talked about how you can get higher returns and the tax benefits of syndications.
Yes, we heart syndication.
Yes. There we go. I got it.
Nice. Episode 16 was about tax benefits for passive real estate investors. So the key takeaways that we wanted to mention again here is we talked about ordinary income versus capital gains. Capital gains, we talked about short-term capital gains and long-term and what they both mean and how they impact you and your tax. Right. The second key takeaway was depreciation. And we talked about straight line depreciation and bonus depreciation and how those impact your taxes and what you get to keep versus having to pay out.
We like to keep.
Yes. Yeah. That was a very popular episode. We're going to be doing many more like those with numbers to really kind of help things like that hit home. Episode 17 was about funds. And we said syndication and diversity on steroids because that is exactly what it is. So a key takeaway was you have diversification across asset class, geographical areas, and the size of the deal. So what we mean by this is you're investing into a fund, and that fund is going to be investing in multiple syndications or multiple big, large deals. So it could have been a fund that had the Daytona Beach deal and the Mississippi deal, and then maybe our 56-unit apartment complex. There would be parameters within the PPM. We talk about what that means as well. And so that's a really, really great way to invest.
I think the first thing about syndications is you guys shorten everything down to letters or just parts of words. It takes me forever to figure things out.
The other key takeaway on episode 17 was the tax benefits. So again, we go into some of the tax benefits and the fact that some assets will perform better than others. So when you're in a fund that is acquiring multiple properties in that fund to be diversified, you're going to have the same diversification for taxes. I loved those. Those were two of my favorite episodes.
And then there was episode 18, which we talked about stock market versus real estate.
Yes.
And real estate investing. And we talked about the what we want as investors: diversity, liquidity, growth, preservation, and cash flow. And then we talk about the differences between the two. And then we also talk about how can we do this better. And then in yesterday's video, we talked about the new fund that she's working on.
Yes.
Which is going to be super cool.
Yes,
that's all I can say. All right, everybody. If you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, this is your chance right now. I know you see the like button right here and you see the heart button right there. This is your chance in the video to smash these buttons. Make sure you hit that heart button. Make sure you hit that like button if you like what you're seeing and if you enjoy what you're watching. But this is your chance right now to smash.
And just remember, this is how we show social media algorithms that you like what we're sharing. So for adding any kind of value over this 365-day series, we hope you'll help us out by sharing the love.
Yeah. So again, Hulk smash. And then episode 19, we talk about flipping versus turnkey versus syndications. And then this is really in talking about active versus passive investors.
That's right.
And then really the key takeaway from that video was how involved do you want to be? Because how involved you want to be tells you which lane you're getting in.
That's exactly
correct. You can't be in all 3 lanes and want to be a certain involvement.
Yeah.
So it's which lane you want to be in, and you tell us how involved you want to be, and we'll tell you which house you are in Hogwarts.
That's funny.
You like that?
You pulled that one out. That was cute.
Thank you.
All right. Episode 20 was yesterday. It was our weekly live. We love those because it gives you the progress updates, and the purpose of those is really to show you what we're doing to encourage you to take, the small steps it takes to get to success. Because we all have our successes and our failures. And if you get to watch other people and what they're doing and hear what they're doing through the course of a year, it really kind of motivates you. I can do this too.
Yep.
So the key takeaways that we talked about was that we are doing, we have multiple deals in the due diligence phase. We gave a shout out to Eric and Della and Carrie for that. And the groups are filling up. And more people are becoming passive investors and taking that first step. And that's why that was a key takeaway. And that's a shout out to Ben, CJ, and Carrie as well.
It all starts with that first step.
That's right. So join our groups because our entire team is in those groups and they're the ones interacting with you along with us. We just had a funny conversation this week. We were at dinner talking about cars and I was like, I'm totally posting this. And that we're posting in that group, right? Not even on our page anymore because we know that in that group, there's people like us having conversations like us. And so we wanted to share it and it was fun. Somebody talked about boats. I think that was Jason.
But again, if you're not a part of our groups, make sure you get in there. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/
Freedom Through Passive Income.
You got it. And again, we also have a group on LinkedIn. We've got, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTubers. So again, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, please.
But again, we hope that you enjoy these. We like to keep them short and sweet, but we always end with
invest smart,
live happy. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Nothing in the show should be considered specific personal or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions and information on the show are not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss.